BVP Beaver Falls.
It's now time for One Man's Opinion on Sports with Bryan Pasquale. The phone lines are open at 724-843-1888 and 724-774-1888. You can also watch live on the WBVP-WNBA Facebook page. Here is your host, Bryan Pasquale.
Welcome to the One Man's Opinion on Sports with me, Bryan Pasquale. I'm here at the St. Barnabas Studios. Joining me today is my producer, Ryan Garazunas. He's ready to take your calls at 724-774-1888 or 724-843-1888. Also, make sure you check us out on Beaver County Radio Facebook Live and Beaver County Radio YouTube. Today's show is sponsored by Easy Home Exteriors. They do roofing, replacement windows, doors, and entryways, as well as siding. Easy Home Exteriors is your one-stop shop for all of your exterior remodeling needs. For a free estimate, call 412-678-7008. That's 412-678-7008. Ryan, it's been a couple weeks. We had last week off here.
It has been. How you been, brother?
Oh, goodness. We'll get into that. That's a loaded question right now. What is today's date?
Today is May 8th of 2024.
May 8th.
Yes, sir.
I would like to wish a very special person a happy first birthday to my niece, Gabrielle. Happy birthday, young lady. Yeah, she turns 1 today.
Wow.
1. Now, her sister is 7 years older than her, and she was born on... what the heck, June 12th. And it was the day the Penguins won the Stanley Cup.
Oh, wow.
In 2016. And the day before her first birthday, they had won the Stanley Cup again. So she wasn't even one, and they'd won 2 Stanley Cups during her lifetime.
Wow, that's amazing.
So we'll be announcing her birthday here in a couple weeks.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
In June.
Happy birthday to her. That's the best birthday, the first one, because,
she's like I call her the human garbage disposal. She just eats and eats and eats everything. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be sweets. It could be green beans. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
She loves it all. So happy birthday to her. So we should probably talk about some sports, though. What do you think?
Yeah, it was, there's not that much to talk about at the moment with our local sports teams. So I kind of wanted to see what direction you were going to go today, man.
Well, we currently, you know how swear words are usually like 4 letters?
Yeah.
Well, we currently have a swear word that is 7 letters.
7 letters.
7 letters. And it begins with a P.
The dreaded P word.
Yes. So we are going to avoid the P word all day.
Okay.
Hopefully. So, Ralph, if you're listening, I know you'll be calling in next segment or whatever. We are going to refer to it as the P word when referring to, I don't know, whatever you would want to consider that wannabe organization here in Pittsburgh.
That's interesting. It's going to be very hard not to use the P word, but you know what? We'll give it a try, Brian.
The P word. I'll tell you what, there was so many things going on this past weekend in sports. There was, let me look here, the Kentucky Derby.
Yes.
I'm not really into horse racing. Obviously, I watched the 2-3 minutes, whatever it was. What a great finish that was. Frank, he is a big NASCAR guy. I watched the NASCAR race as well this weekend, and that was the closest finish ever in a NASCAR race.
And they just had a really close one about a month ago where, it just really inched them out.
I mean, there's this thing, and I don't understand, like on the bumper, there's like this little piece that sticks out a little further than the bumper, and the guy beat the other guy by like an inch.
Wow.
It was crazy. There was PGA golf on.
Okay.
There was also LIV golf.
Okay.
There was pro football, and I don't. What is the name of the league?
The UFL.
The UFL.
Yeah.
Now I know there's an undefeated team.
Yes.
Is there just one?
Yes, it's the Birmingham Stallions, who is back-to-back champions from the USFL.
They should be the Italian Stallions.
The Italian Stallions.
And go to Philadelphia. So here's my question. They are what, 6-0?
Yes.
Now it's an 8-game season.
Is it 8 or 10?
I don't even know the name of the league. What do you ask me? Here's my question, though.
Yeah.
When they lose, will the 72 Dolphins celebrate?
You know what? That's a very good question. And if there was any team, too, to continue to win, it would be them. Again, they had won the last 2 championships in the USFL. So
there is plenty of Major League Baseball going on. There's also some Double-A baseball down at PNC Park that's been happening. So if you want to watch some Double-A baseball.
Hey, watch your mouth.
Yes. The NBA playoffs are on. We'll talk about that a little bit. I know you're a big, huge Minnesota Timberwolves fan, right?
Always. Who hasn't always loved the Minnesota Timberwolves, right?
I think Kevin Garnett played for them at one point in time.
Right.
That's about the only player I can name other than the guys playing right now.
And you got to remember, too, that Kevin Garnett came in as an 18-year-old kid straight out of high school. So however old he is now, that's been how long I've been a Minnesota Timberwolves fan.
There you
just
go.
like everybody else.
I think they are the odds-on favorite to win the NBA title this year, by the way. But we'll get onto that later. NHL playoffs going on.
Yes.
I know the Bruins and Rangers are winning. I don't pay attention to the West Coast teams. The only time I ever did was when Fleury was playing for Vegas.
Okay.
But unless you're an Pens player, I really don't pay much attention to
I got to tell you,
hockey.
that was kind of fun taking in the Las Vegas Golden Knights those few years. I mean, it was fun to watch a team that, that wasn't ours, outside of our city, and be able to root for them.
Yeah, and there's no ill will for them because it's not like it's the Flyers or the Capitals or whatever. There's also college softballs in full swing. I get to watch that. I don't watch like a full game, but I'll watch a half an inning here, a half an inning there. It's amazing. Those girls, the pitcher's about 5 feet from the home plate, and they whip the ball about 600 miles an hour. I have no idea how those girls hit that.
I always wondered that. Yeah.
The Oakland Athletics, that's probably a swear word out in California. Their average attendance this year so far is 6,410.
Wow.
Which is 9 million times more than the WNBA. All right. My Dylan Cruz watch has continued. He's down in Double-A Harrisburg. He got drafted 2nd overall, and I was really, when you talk about Paul Skeens, do we draft him, the pitcher, which is tough to get pitchers, and I understand why they went with the pitcher over the hitter. Dylan Cruz was 2nd drafted overall, and he is batting a whopping 246 down at Double-A with 2 home runs. So far looking like Paul Skeens was the right move. Your thoughts?
I do. Pitchers are always, in my opinion, the pitcher's the move that you have to make. If you have a choice between Paul Skeens and Dylan Cruz or Paul Skeens, in my opinion, you always have to go with the pitcher because pitching is everything in Major League Baseball. You're not going to go anywhere if you don't have great pitchers on your staff. I mean, look at the teams that win every year, Brian.
I mean, especially we're not going to get into playoffs,
right?
But to win the playoffs, you need at least 2 horses.
Absolutely.
The P word, I think they're going to have that moving forward. But absolute 2 studs. One's in AAA still, one's up in the bigs, and he's only 22, I believe.
And he's doing things. The one in the bigs is doing things that nobody else has done. I mean, he's putting up numbers that people have literally not done since the 1800s, and it's amazing. And if you think about it, the current ace on the squad. Again, I know we're not using the P word today, but if you would also put him into consideration, I think you have 3 pretty strong pitchers as he came out the other night through a complete game, 1 hitter.
Over 100 pitches.
Yeah, right.
So, are they allowed to do that? I thought you got fined if you let your pitcher in, won a complete game and over 100 pitches. I don't think it was like 110. It was like 10 something, I think.
And to put that into consideration, yes, because he's been on the team, 3 seasons now, and he's done it twice, 2 complete games. That puts it in perspective of how much that team does let that happen.
Let me ask you this: when the AAA guy gets called up, Paul Skeens, will he be better than Garrett Cole when his career is all said and done?
I mean, that's an interesting question. I think as far as his individual performances, he probably should be. I mean, being what he's chalked up as at this point, and I know Garrett Cole was, in a similar situation, but I mean, this guy, people are calling him a generational talent, and from what I see so far, again, he still hasn't pitched an inning in the majors, but I think that he's probably going to be one of these generational talents.
Yeah. Did you see the long-haired fella the past few days playing third base for the Angels?
Yes, I did.
Cole Tucker is back in town. Yeah,
that was yeah.
My buddy has long hair, and I was at a little dart tournament last night. My buddy has long curly hair, and I said to my buddy, "Who has better hair, you, Cole Tucker, or Troy Polamalu?" And he goes, "Cole Tucker," and it's not even close. I'm so jealous.
Yeah, that was pretty cool getting to see him. again, I know we're not using the P word, but I don't know what happened today. Did you catch any results from this afternoon?
Yeah, they were up 4-0, and guess what happened?
Okay, all right.
It rhymes with they lost 5-4.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, up 4-0, and then just totally. The starting pitching has been the strength of the team.
Yeah.
Right? It was supposed to be the closers, and the way they started off in spring training with the hitting. The scary part was the starting pitching, and that's been the only thing solid so far this season.
You hit that on the head. As we're coming into the season, this ball club in spring training, mind you, was able to hit more home runs than any other team in the league. Any group of guys on a baseball team, this team hit more home runs than. And as you said again, the back end of the relievers was supposed to be lights out. That proves to be not true so far. But 1 through 5, you got to take Quinn Priester out of there. I think that he's been a little rough. But as far if you would take the guys that aren't injured, put them back in there, I think we have a top rotation.
Yeah, Priester, I think he made 4 starts, and he did very, very, very well in one of the 4. So, and the other 3 not so good. So you need more consistency out of someone like him.
I think Brian. I think he has given up 6 home runs so far in those 4 starts.
Nice. At this point, it is the 8th. June 1st isn't too far away. Is that when we see Mr. Skeens?
I'm going to be honest. I think we see Mr. Skeens earlier than that. I give it I say between now and June 1st, I think we see him.
If I'm the Pirates, I just leave him down until June and just keep him the extra year, because you're going to lose him to the Yankees at some point.
Right.
Why not have him for one more year? This season's not,
Yeah.
I mean, not that it's over yet, but
right.
So why not just plan for 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 4 years from now, and have them that extra season?
You know what? I agree, and also with this offense, at some point, every team goes through bad hitting spells through the course of a season. Multiple times it happens. When is this team going to start hitting again? Of course, the past 2 series they've hit a little bit better. But again, you're playing the Angels, who I don't even think they have double-digit wins. You're playing Colorado, teams like this.
Yeah, I think Colorado had 8 wins. And you lose these are the teams. Oakland, you're supposed to beat up on. Colorado, right. You're supposed to beat up on, and the Angels, you're supposed to beat up on, and we're the same as them.
Yeah.
And here's my question though. Livy Dunn, Paul Steen's girlfriend.
It always comes back to Livy Dunn with you.
Well,
all right. Point taken.
Yes. So Livy Dunn weeks ago said she already has her outfits chosen for when he gets called up to the bigs, and she's going to be there, and the TV's going to be on her, and she's going to be looking her best. Will her clothes go out of style by the time he gets called up? That's my question. Like, bell bottoms are out there, Livy,
Yeah, right. No, that's interesting. And also, a lot of people haven't talked, and I just want to jump sports real quick. We'll come right back. But Sierra, is that Russell Wilson's wife's name? Who gets more attention in Pittsburgh? Livy Dunn or Sierra?
Okay.
Because these are 2 pretty high-profile women.
Here's my thing. I think it's just Sierra because of the nature of the NFL and the beast.
Yeah.
And it's a football town. It's not necessarily a double-A baseball town.
Right.
So, but Livy Dunn's way more famous.
Right.
What was Cole Tucker's Vanessa Hudgens?
Yes.
Yeah. So, I think he texted something out to Paul Skeens and said, I understand whenever you're dating someone of
you're right.
Just go do your business and do the small things and don't worry about all that.
As long as none of it gets annoying as the Taylor Swift thing in football, I guess. That
is so bad. I literally, it makes me want to turn the volume off when I'm watching. It's at points I just want to turn the channel off too.
Yeah.
And it just, I don't care.
Right.
I don't care. But
we're here to watch football. You're shoving it in our face. There's some people that don't care. There's some people that actually like it. But for most, men our age, we choose. We'd rather not watch Taylor Swift and
and Swifties. Is it a cult? It's a serious question. Is being a Swiftie a cult, or is it just like Madonna? I don't know. I never thought being a fan of Madonna was a big deal, but
what are they called? Aren't they called something? Madonna's followers called something as well?
Old.
On that note.
All right, why don't we go to break? On the other side, we're going to have Ralph Williams here. You guys have been listening to WBEP 99.3 FM and 1230 AM. We'll be right back to One Man's Opinion on Sports.
Hey, can you imagine trying to hit a fastball or throwing a runner out at home? It's hard to think of doing these things under perfect circumstances, let alone with the distraction and discomfort of dental issues. Regular dental care from Dr. C. Timothy Lip can improve your productivity, happiness, and focus, even if you're not in the big leagues. Dental problems affect more than just your teeth. Visit lipdentistry.com or Dr. C. Timothy Lip Family Dental Offices on College Hill and Robinson Township.
One of the greatest honors a person can receive is to be gathered with their people at the time of their passing. Even biblical authors, when they wanted to explain what it meant to have lived a great, prosperous, and meaningful life, spoke of the individual as having lived a long time and being gathered with friends and relatives near as they closed out their twilight years. Being gathered together with loved ones is something that the J&J Spratt Funeral Home takes very seriously as well. The comfort both given and received cannot be underestimated. J&J Spratt Funeral Home also knows that the honor shown to a loved one at their time of need in this manner is still the right thing to do today. J&J Spratt Funeral Home has been gathering together with area families for 4 generations and looks forward to honoring future residents deserving of being gathered together with friends and family. Click jjspratfh.com.
Start your day with breakfast at McDonald's. Enjoy their 2 for $3 mix and match breakfast special. Whether you're on your way to work or on your way to school, McDonald's has the right breakfast for you. McDonald's breakfast. I'm loving it.
Now back to One Man's Opinion with Bryan Pasquale.
All right, everyone, welcome back. We will get into the intro here in a second. We do have breaking news. Breaking news. Very close to the subject we were just talking about last segment. This Saturday versus the Chicago Cubs, Paul Skeens, the number 1 overall draft pick, will be making his major league debut.
That is, Brian, that is the news here in Pittsburgh right now. We were just talking about this.
I just felt like I got like a jolt of like energy right now. It was like I just chugged 2 Mountain Dews and a Red Bull all at once.
Yes, wow.
All right, so Paul Skeens to start this Saturday. Let's go through the intro here. You guys are listening to One Man's Opinion on Sports with me, Bryan Pasquale. I'm here at the St. Barnabas Studios. Joining me today is my producer, Ryan Garazunas. Also, make sure you check us out on Beaver County Radio Facebook Live and Beaver County Radio YouTube. Today's show is sponsored by Easy Home Exteriors. They do roofing, replacement windows, doors, and entryways, as well as siding. Easy Home Exteriors is your one-stop shop for all of your exterior remodeling needs. For a free estimate, call 412-678-7008. That's 412-678-7008.
I got to say that, right now in Pittsburgh, there's 2 things that people would want to hear, and one of them would be that the Steelers got a number 2 receiver, or that Paul Skeens is getting the call,
or that my niece turned 1.
Well, that's true.
I know all Western Pennsylvania was wondering what's going on.
I'm rejoicing. I know that.
All right, on the phone lines, we do have Ralph Williams from Sports Corner. You can listen to him every Tuesday here on Beaver County Radio from 4 to 6. Ralph, welcome to the show.
Hey, you know what, Brian? You just stole my thunder because I was going to report that to you.
I knew it.
Oh, my.
Now, I texted Ralph earlier today, and, with it being a little slower in sports and whatnot, I was like, what do you want to talk about? And Ralph's response was, where is Paul Skeens? So there you go, Ralph. There's your answer.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was wild, Ralph, because he's running
No, actually, he's not pitching Saturday. He's going to be selling hot dogs.
And the Lexus Club.
And I got to tell you one thing that you guys didn't see at home. As Brian is getting this scoop during the break, he's running around with his phone. He's showing me, showing the maintenance guy. I've never seen anything like it.
All right. So what are your thoughts, Ralph, on the big news?
Oh, it's about time. I was told today that they were checking every box. They wanted to make sure it was good to go. They didn't want to get it wrong. They want to make sure that down the road, if he gets arm problems or something, they're going to say brought him up too fast or whatever. I thought what they should have done last month or at the beginning of the season was bring him up and have him work 2 innings as a reliever and work his way up into the rotation up here in the major leagues. That way he could really get some seasoning. And that way, he could do this because if correct me if I'm wrong, and I reached out to a couple sources of mine, Bettner was hurt at the beginning of the year. Right at the end of spring training, he got hurt. So he was playing. He's been playing with some kind of an injury. And, that's why Bettner wasn't what he was. Now, I'm hearing he's healed from the injury now. But I would have brought Skeens up to pitch in his place and kept Bettner on the sidelines or have him pitch in the minors or something just to get him back in order. But if that would have been my plan.
Well, the Pirates, they always seem to have their own plan. It usually doesn't go very well for us. So I guess with the news, I did say the P word just now, so I guess the cat's out of the bag for the rest of the show because of this new news. Will you go to a game now to watch Paul Skeens, or are you still going to avoid going and spending money on Nutting?
I'm not going and spending any money as long as Bob Nutting is the owner. Now, I will go to a game. My mom likes to go see baseball games. My wife wants to go to a bobblehead. My mom pays for the tickets. I will go if somebody else pays. I will not put a dime into that.
Now, when you go, because it's not just the tickets to me. It's like, if I buy a hot dog or a drink, I mean, that's all going to Nutting, and I try to, avoid all that too because I don't like what he's done.
Yeah, I don't like what he's done either. I think that, and now I'm finding out that it's going to stay in the Nutting family because he's passing on to his daughters when he decides to. So, and I don't know. Maybe they might sell it. They might not want it. I don't know. You ever watch the movie Any Given Sunday? Remember when Cameron Diaz was running her dad's football team? If you watched that, and then her advisors kept saying, why don't you just sell the team and go play golf and go do your own life or whatever? That could happen. It could happen that way because I don't know if his daughters will want to run the baseball team or not.
Yeah. Well, the future, who knows? It's always undecided. So we'll find out here over the course of the next several years.
Yeah.
Do you know when he's going to hand that over to them, or?
And who knows?
Right.
Who knows? It's a mystery. By the way, I have some Steeler news today. They actually signed a 4th-string wide receiver named Steve Mallory. He is a wide receiver, came from Atlanta. He was with Arthur Smith last year.
Gee whiz, I hope we're as good as the Atlanta Falcons were last year. I mean, I think it's four.
Exactly.
I think it's 4 or 5 guys.
Falcons were.
I think that's 4 or 5 guys right there that we got from Atlanta.
Yes.
Ralph,
absolutely.
Now, I think any wide receiver that's disgruntled that has any sort of talent has been linked to coming to the Steelers. Is anybody coming here, or do we just not have any receivers? We got to rely on the rookie and whatever his name is.
Well,
Pickens.
I keep hearing about that Jones guy down there in Jacksonville. I keep hearing about we're going to make this big trade for somebody and all this other stuff. Right now, those are just rumors. I don't think the Steelers are going to do anything, if you ask my honest opinion. And they just lost Tyler Boyd yesterday to the Tennessee Titans. And here's something else I want to tell you guys that I don't think anybody knows. The Steelers decided not to sign Tyler Boyd was because he was not worth second receiver money. But $4.5 million to me is not second string or second receiver money. That has to be something wrong with with that report about the Steelers doing that, because I just don't see that. $4.5 million is peanuts to the Steelers, and I don't get why they didn't pay him or bring him in here. I don't get it.
Well, I agree with you there, Ralph, because they decided to not pick up Najee Harris's 50-year option, and that was $6.7 million. And to me, that's like chump change for the NFL. So 4.5 is absolutely nothing.
Right, and the Steelers, Brian and Ryan, what you have to understand is the Steelers don't care about running backs. I used the example on my show yesterday about Franco Harris. Remember back in 1984 when Franco Harris's contract was up, and the Steelers went to Chuck Noll, and they said, "What are you going to do about Franco Harris?" He went, "Franco who?" Okay, and the Steelers have done that forever. They look at Willie Parker. Willie Parker was an undrafted free agent. They find those running backs in the rough. They got that kid from Georgia that they just brought in here. So that undrafted free agent. So what I'm saying is is that's how the Steelers like to operate. Jalen Warren was an undrafted free agent, and look how good he is. So, I mean, they don't need Najee Harris, to be frankly honest with you.
My only concern with Jalen Warren is, I forget what game it was last year. Do you remember when it was like a weather game? There was rain or something was going on, and he was putting the ball on the ground a lot, and they pulled him from the game, and Harris took the rest of the carries the remainder of the game. That's my only concern with him, with that weather issue and him putting the ball on the ground.
Yeah, they say he has a fumble problem. So, I mean, I didn't see too much of it until last year. We saw a little bit of it, and if that continues, we're going to have egg on our face again, which we have on our face now because we didn't sign Tyler Boyd. I mean, come on, $4.5 million, guys, really? I mean, he wasn't worth. He was only a third. He's like a third wide receiver, and you should have seen the excuses today that the Steelers came up with because they know now they got egg on their face.
Yeah, no, I think it's crazy. Here's a question for you guys. Do you think that, and it's kind of an outside-the-box question, but I got to tell you, it's not the first time that I heard it. Do you think that there's a possibility of wrapping Najee up in some kind of deal and grabbing a top-tier receiver to bring in to have a pretty darn good receiving core?
I'm hearing Ryan about trade. I'm hearing about trading Najee Harris.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, if you put him in, you're guaranteed, along with maybe some money, draft picks, whatever it is, you're guaranteed to get yourself a top flight wide receiver.
Ralph, did you hear anything to the Cowboys?
I heard the Cowboys are interested in Najee Harris, but they just re-signed Ezekiel Elliott.
Right. Eat me.
So, I mean, unless they plan on
or feed me,
having two running backs and running a football multiples like the Steelers do.
Yeah, well, you know what? That's the one thing that worries me is if we would do something like this, you know as well as I do, Jalen Warren would go down with a blown ACL week 1, and there we would be with 0 running backs. And if that isn't our luck,
No, we got that guy from Atlanta, Arthur Smith's buddy, the one we signed that can return punts and kicks.
We got all of his buddies.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, all Arthur Smith's guys are coming. So there you are.
What do you think
guys he's familiar with?
What do you think that offense? Let's just say, Ralph, that we don't get another wide receiver. We go with the group we have. Obviously, we have the rookie coming in. That's to be determined. I think as the season goes along, he'll probably get more snaps and probably produce. But I mean, is Russell Wilson who's he going to be chucking it to?
Well, that's Roman Miller, the guy we drafted from Michigan. They said he can be a second wide receiver. So if the Steelers are banking their eggs in that basket, that's probably where they're going to have to go, Brian, because Van Robinson is not a starting wide receiver. He's a third or fourth kind of guy. And Calvin Austin is a situational receiver. He's the kind of guy that comes in on certain plays and gets you some yardage and sneaks through with that little body of his that can run fast. You know what I mean? I mean, he's not really a starting wide receiver.
Yeah, they've definitely got some issues, so they've got to figure something out. Now, I don't know how they go about doing it, but something needs done there.
They're so desperate now. Brian. They're talking about bringing back Patrick Peterson and signing Cam Sutton and let him sit out for 8 games.
The thing about this team that I feel optimistic, and don't get me wrong, I agree with everything you guys are saying. But everything that Omar Khan has done to stick all the right pieces in the places that they belong, I have a really hard time believing that when it's all said and done, he's going to let this team go into the season with not without having that solid number 2 receiver. I think it's going to get done. If everyone's kind of wanting a Deebo Samuel, a Brandon Ayuk, but even if it's a Cortland Sutton, I think at some point he is going to get somebody to plug in that hole because again, there has been nothing he's done to this point that would lead us to believe that he's going to leave that position open while he's trying to make this team better at every position.
Well, he's going to have to get the best of Denver for Sutton.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he's good at doing that, guys.
Yes.
Omar Khan will come up with something, like you said, Ryan, and I agree with you that I think he's coming up with something because there's no way we go into the season with Roman Wilson. Again, I have nothing against the kid. He's a good wide receiver. He was good in college, but that's college.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We need somebody with some experience to complement George Pickens.
Absolutely. Well, Ralph, we're just about running out of time. Maybe 30 seconds. Any final words on anything?
Not really. It seems like the team that we're not going to mention today blew it again. I don't know what's going on with this bullpen, but it seems like what like Ryan said earlier, what wasn't supposed to work is working, and now what is supposed to work is not working. So it seems like the opposite with them.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, thanks for joining us, Ralph. I'm sure we'll talk to you next week.
You're welcome, and I'll talk to you next week, Brian. Have a good show, and enjoy the rest of your day.
All right. Thanks, Ralph.
Take
you guys
care,
can
Ralph.
check out
All right,
Ralph
thank you,
every
man.
Tuesday.
You too, Ryan. All right.
Every Tuesday from 4 to 6 here on Beaver County Radio, from 4 to 6 at the Sports Corner with Smoke and Jim Frazian. All right. On the other side of the break, we will be talking more sports. You guys have been listening to WBVP 99.3 FM and 1230 AM. We'll be right back to One Man's Opinion on Sports.
Some things just seem to go together well. You know, like salt and pepper, love and marriage, pencils and paper, and liver and onions. What? Liver and onions? Who wrote this? Hi, this is Andy Dangle from Freedom United Federal Credit Union, here to talk about two other things that go great together, cars and cash. If you're like me, you like both of those things, and right now, during Cars and Cash Month, Freedom United is making their unbelievable new and late model auto loan available so you can get all the cash you need to get the car you've been dreaming of, based on credit approval and vehicle purchase. Cars and Cash. That's a combination that you can't beat. Look for a picture of me holding all the cash you'll need, along with other details about Cars and Cash Month in the Freedom United Facebook feed. Member NCUA, Equal Housing Lender.
The Rochester True Value, located inside the Shop and Save on the Ohio River Boulevard, is proudly serving the community. The Rochester True Value is independently owned and operated and has experienced workers who can help you with your home projects. The Rochester True Value has tools, products, and all the equipment needed for you to get the job done. The Rochester True Value inside the Shop and Save is open and ready to help with your home improvements. That's the Rochester True Value in Shop and Save on the Ohio River Boulevard.
Join Mike Romai for Live Mike each Monday through Friday from 6:30 to 9 a.m. Sponsored by the Beaver County Transit Authority. The Beaver County Transit Authority is reimagining and redefining how we connect in Beaver County. That's Live Mike with Mike Romai, weekdays from 6:30 to 9 a.m. on 99.3 FM, 1230 WBVP, and BeaverCountyRadio.com. Now back to One Man's Opinion with Bryan Pasquale.
Welcome back to One Man's Opinion on Sports with me, Bryan Pasquale. I'm here at the St. Barnabas Studios. Joining me today is my producer, Ryan Garazunas. Please, if you want to talk Paul Skeens and the Pirates, give us a call here, 724-774-1888 or 724-843-1888. Also, make sure you check us out on Beaver County Radio Facebook Live and Beaver County Radio YouTube. Today's show is sponsored by Easy Home Exteriors. They do roofing, replacement windows, doors, and entryways, as well as siding. Easy Home Exteriors is your one-stop shop for all of your exterior remodeling needs. For a free estimate, call 412-678-7008. That's 412-678-7008. All kinds of exciting things happening here May 8th. My niece turns 1. Paul Skeens is going to start. It's official. They announced it today. Saturday versus the Cubbies.
Big game. I got to tell you, I can't imagine that PNC Park is not going to be jam-packed this coming Saturday, Brian. And I also want to say another important thing as we're talking about family members. You really turned into my drunk uncle today, because at first, no P word. We're not going to say anything like that. You get one taste of the Skeens, and now you're like, P word this, P word that. So
Pirates. Just for the record, I am not drinking like your uncle.
Like my uncle, yeah.
All right, I just got that jolt. I'm telling you, like I'm pumped now.
That's exciting.
I mean, he's just got a cannon.
Yeah.
Here's my question, though. Okay, and this, we need to break this down, because this is like the most important part about all this. What color outfit will Livy Dunn be wearing on Saturday?
Now, did she tip anybody off, or do we have any scoop on her?
Okay, and I want you to tell everybody about this in a second here, but you have a podcast, a live cast, every Monday through Friday.
I don't know how this relates to women's clothing, but okay.
It does, okay, and here's why. Because you have this theory of the Pirates jerseys.
Yes.
And their win-loss records.
Yes.
With it. are they wearing a particular jersey on Saturday? And if so, would that tip off what she might be wearing to match?
Very good question. I mean, I'm not a good person on fashion, so I don't even know if that would ring in one's head. It seems like it makes sense, but you are right. I pay attention to unimportant things like the jersey colors that these guys wear when they win, when they don't win. But I'm going to say right now, I'll place the prop bet on the show between you and I'm going to say they wear the black jerseys that say Pittsburgh across the front. That is going to be my pick for this Saturday.
Now, does she wear black or does she wear something that stands out?
I think she wears yellow, like a very something that stands out.
I would go with that too, because I was thinking pink at first. And I'm like, well, it's not football season in October, so maybe she'll go with the yellow and stand out. Maybe some stuff in her hair that's yellow.
Right.
And not that this is important at all, but do you think he'll pitch well?
You know what? I do think he's going to pitch well. This is the one that everybody's anticipating, chomping at the bit to see how this guy's going to throw in the majors against major league hitting. I would have liked to see him come in maybe one of these last two series against a team that isn't that good. The Cubbies, they are a little bit ahead of us. I believe they were tied with Milwaukee the other day in first place. I would have liked to see him get what's supposed to be a soft team, but you know what? I guess that's nobody for the Pirates right now. But I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see Paul Skeens.
Do you think he'll make it 4 innings?
I think by performance, yes. I think if anything, the coaches will put some kind of cap on.
There's going to be a limit on it. I mean,
Right.
he's not going to pitch 7 innings. We know that. Unless he's, I don't know, getting 3 pitch innings or something. But
Right.
I think he's going to go like 4 innings or so.
Yeah.
And then they'll probably just cut him off at that point.
Let me ask you this. Let's say we're up 5-0. And he's in,
Whoa! 5 runs?
All right, we're
in one game.
We're not doing fiction, okay? No, but let's just say, for example, we're up 5-0. Paul Skeens has and it is, again, this is pure speculation, and Paul Skeens has not given up a hit yet. Do you let the kid continue to pitch, or do you stick with your guns and yank him after 4?
They're going to yank him because it was the Jones thing. We're going to pitch him this amount of innings. And his pitch count was 58 or something, and they took him out. I'm like, 58 pitches, that's nothing, you know? So, it's definitely going to be an innings thing. I don't even know if it'll be like a number, but it'll be like 4 innings or 70 pitches, whichever comes first or something like that. So, you're not going to draft him number 1 overall, bring him up, and then ruin his arm, Tommy John's. Somebody sent me something that last year, there was more Tommy John surgeries than the entire 90s.
Wow.
Now, I don't know when they started doing the Tommy John and when it became, better. You had Tommy John, and then, you came back and you were just as good, if not better. But I don't know when that started happening.
Tommy John used to end your career.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Now guys get it multiple times, if I'm not wrong.
You're right. They love it. They love the Tommy John surgery.
He gets a free year of not working and getting paid.
Right. But that is, Brian, it's super exciting. I don't know what the promotion is on Saturday, but I tell you what, if you're a Pirate fan at all, I think that you should get down and see this. It's going to be a big moment. And if he plays out to be what he's supposed to be, it's going to be a really cool thing as a Pirates fan.
You know what I'm looking forward to seeing, okay? Because Ralph mentioned egg on the face earlier on the call. My niece is 1, and you know how the kids put the cake.
Yes.
And I'm waiting for the picture that my sister sends me of my niece with cake on her face.
Yeah, right. And I tell you what, if you get that, I got to see this, all right?
Yes. Well, definitely I'll show you a break or something. So, so I don't know what, I think after dinner, my mom's going over there, and they're, whether it's
awesome.
cupcakes or what, who knows? She's gonna make a mess of herself.
Right.
I mean, she makes a mess of green beans.
Absolutely.
So the cake will be all over there. All right. I'm excited. Paul Skeens. It was funny. The first segment, I'm thinking maybe June 1st. Nope.
Right.
This weekend versus the Cubbies.
Yeah, no, that it really is exciting, and and to spring it on us like this, without any warning, it just makes it even more exciting. And it's probably by design. It's going to get people out to the ballpark again.
Right. Well, it'll be a sellout, right?
Absolutely, I would think so.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a Pirates fan or even just a wishy-washy fan, I would assume you're going to go to see what the hype's all about. Plus, Paul Skeens will be there as well with Olivia.
And also is
I got you all flustered.
You do
here.
got me flustered here. It's going to be exciting, Brian, and I hope he does well. And as I said, this is what everyone was waiting for. They wanted him to come up. You can't wait to see how he pitches against major leaguers, and This is going to be the big game. And that's where I was going to go before you started throwing Livy Dunn in my face, was that this city, they managed to put their butts in the seats when there's big occasions for, the Pirates, for example. Opening day, and that place was packed. It was a daytime game. People found their way to the stadium. So I think that this stadium is, without a doubt, going to be jam-packed Saturday.
It's going to be rocking. And Taylor Swift, she has the Swifties. Like, will it be like the Dunsies, or what are we going to be calling her followers? And I think a lot of her followers are like teenage and early 20 boys.
Yeah, right.
Are pretty much her fan base.
Yeah. It's going to be fun.
I just wonder how much TV time she's going to get. That's the biggest part here.
Well, I guess this is the new, sports in the new world. If you want, a top kind of player, you got to bring in somebody that has one of these famous, ridiculously hot wives, right?
Right. So, they have like the pitch clock. Will they like delay that more so that she can get more TV time, or what are they going to do here?
You know what? I don't even know what I'll do with myself if things like this started happening.
I'm going to be texting you if it's obnoxious. If they show her a few times, that would be normal.
Right.
But if it's like obnoxious, I'm going to be texting you the whole time that it's.
Let's make it interesting. Let's make it interesting right now. Nobody's talking about this, and let's say, how many times do you, Brian? I want one man's opinion. This is what I want. I want one man's opinion on how many times Livy Dunn is shown on television this Saturday night.
It's over a dozen.
Over a dozen?
Over a dozen.
Okay. All right, so that will be where we're at. Let's call it over under 10. 10 will be the number. You think that she's going to be on your television screen more than 10 times?
I'm saying over 12.
Okay.
Over 12 is my official. Are you taking the under?
I'm going to take the under, yeah.
All right. Yeah, that'll be fun. I'll count. What do you think's going to look better, her outfit or his stash? He does have a nice stash.
He does.
He's like Tom Selleck from the 80s.
Yes. Yeah. I'm going to say her just because it does take you back to the policeman. They always had that stash. It is a very 80s thing, and I think that she wins.
The Pennsylvania State Police is like about a half mile from here.
Yes.
I bet you all of those guys, they all drive the same pickup truck.
Yeah.
And they all have the same stash.
Yes.
Can they throw it 102 is my question.
This is that one opportunity. If you ever have a chance to have positive light shed on your man's stash, it would be right now in Pittsburgh being a Pirates fan because, hey, that's the thing right now.
This is exciting. I mean, what did I say when I came into the show? I was like, Ryan, there's absolutely it's just not a good time. The Pens don't even get a first round pick.
Yeah.
I guess they got the 14th overall pick is where they landed. So because it was outside of the top whatever, they don't get their pick goes to somebody else this year. So the Pens don't even have a future.
To chime in, if the Carolina Hurricanes win the Stanley Cup, then the Penguins would then get a first round pick. So that's how that plays out. If the Carolina Hurricanes don't go to the Stanley Cup, the Penguins won't get a first round pick.
So we're rooting for the Hurricanes.
They have to. Yeah, they don't have to win. They have to get there.
Not like actual hurricanes that cause destruction and death and
of course,
but the hockey team.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I just want to make sure we knew what we were rooting for here.
If they make the finals, Penguins get a first round pick. If they don't make the finals, the Penguins do not get a first round pick.
All right. So so I was all depressed. This morning. Remember, many shows ago, I was talking about finding a mechanic.
Yes.
So my daughter's car is still at the mechanic.
I
dropped it off there March 26th. He calls me this morning. They're changing some computer system or something, right? And they had to order it. It took a few days, whatever. And the guy that knows how to program it, he had surgery last week. So he wasn't back to work till today. So they called me this morning, and I'm like, oh, sweet. They changed the computer. It's all good. They go, do you have another key? I'm like, yeah, I have 2 keys. Why? We need it because we can't program this without 2 keys. And I'm like, I'm at work. My kid has it, but she's at school. Yeah. I made them drive to my daughter's high school and to get her key.
Did they do that?
Oh, they did.
Wow.
And so they called me this afternoon. They said the car's done. It's running fine. Because I kept getting it was overheating, and I had to take it back. And so they drove it a couple times. It's working fine. They're gonna run it one more time tomorrow, and I'm gonna pick it up tomorrow. So at the end of the day, my niece's first birthday, my kid's car is coming back. Paul Skeens and Olivia Dunn will be down at the ballpark on Saturday. Will there be a big to-do when he gets into town? I don't know when he's going to be in town. I mean, Indianapolis isn't that far.
I think everything's going to be fine. He's going to come in, do his thing. He's going to get into town, get prepared and ready.
Like, is he going to come in like a red Ferrari into town or what?
I don't think. But you know what? At the end of the day, I won't be surprised if that does happen. But I'm going to say no.
I'm trying to think of the Magnum PI music.
Right.
If we could play the Magnum PI music while he pulls up in the red Ferrari, getting out of the car with his girlfriend,
right,
with that stash.
Well, you know what? Now that you mentioned all those things, there might be a big deal made about this.
It is good. It is good. It is great. It is a great day here, May 8th. All right, guys, we got one more segment, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. You guys have been listening to BBP 99.3 FM and 1230 AM.
You're listening to Beaver County Radio, coming to you live from the Fry Transportation Studios. Beaver County Radio and Fry Transportation, a winning team. 99.3 FM and 1230 WBVP, providing news, sports, and information for 76 years.
The warm weather is back, and that can only mean one thing. Pirates baseball for a 76th season is on Beaver County Radio. Make sure you set your radio dial to WBVP and 99.3 FM. Pirate baseball is being presented locally by the St. Barnabas Health System, Freedom United Federal Credit Union, Falcone's Moon Township Ford, Keystone Wellness Program, Friendly Federal Credit Union, Dr. C. Timothy Lip, the Beaver Falls Municipal Authority, Patriot Home Care, Town Square Restaurant, and Beaver County Radio.
It's time to wake up, Beaver Valley, with Pastor David Grove from the Church of the Redeemed of Beaver Valley. Tune in to Beaver County Radio this and every Saturday from 9 to 10 a.m. It's time to wake up and turn our hearts back to Jesus Christ. So wake up early this Saturday and tune in to Wake Up Beaver Valley from 9 until 10 a.m. right here on Beaver County Radio.
Now, back to One Man's Opinion with Bryan Pasquale.
Welcome back to One Man's Opinion on Sports with me, Bryan Pasquale. I'm here at the St. Barnabas Studios. Joining me today is my producer, Ryan Garazunas. He's ready to take your calls at 724-843-1888 or 724-774-1888. Also, make sure you check us out on Beaver County Radio Facebook Live and Beaver County Radio YouTube. Today's show is sponsored by Easy Home Exteriors. They do roofing, replacement windows, doors, and entryways, as well as siding. Easy Home Exteriors is your one-stop shop for all of your exterior remodeling needs. For a free estimate, call 412-678-7008. That's 412-678-7008. If you guys are just tuning in, Paul Skeens has been promoted to the big league club, the Pirates. He will be pitching this Saturday down at PNC Park versus the Cubbies. We are excited for that.
You know, I think I found who may be the most excited person about Paul Skeens coming, and they just narrowly beat you, Brian. But I think that there's one person in Pittsburgh that is just probably the most happy, most excited. It's Big Ben Roethlisberger after his name being called out yesterday in the Donald Trump hearing. I don't know if you've seen this or heard this.
No, what fill me in.
Stormy Daniels, she's being questioned about the prostitute, right? So she ends up going on telling this story about back in the day when she was hanging out with Trump, and also Mr. Big Ben Roethlisberger. She goes on to say that.
I'm not surprised.
You're right. I mean, he was going through them. He had that crazy time that he went through. I don't know verbatim, but the story is that she tried on his Super Bowl ring. So it was after Super Bowl 40. She went on to say that it was very big. She was able to get 2 fingers.
The ring?
The ring, yeah.
Oh, okay. Big Ben, I don't know what we're talking about here.
She was able to get two fingers in the Super Bowl ring. She was also asked by Big Ben if he could kiss her. A couple other things, but out of all the athletes in the world, of all the teams, of all the cities, of all the states, and all the towns, it would be our quarterback, our Hall of Fame quarterback of the future, would be the one called out by Stormy Daniels in the Donald Trump trial.
Very nice. Way to go. Well, yeah, the Paul Skeens news will probably push that under the rug for now.
Big Ben is loving it.
You know who else was talking about Big Ben?
Who's that?
I want to say it was yesterday. Your boy, none other than Antonio Brown.
Oh, what do you say now?
Okay, well, first off, he wished Caitlin Clark all the best. Says has no beef with her. He loves what she's doing. Then something about if it's Harry, blah, 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 blah. Well, I had to throw that in there. If you guys don't know what we're talking about, you check out Ryan's podcast. the Two Dumb Yinzers every Monday through Friday. They can go into more detail. We're on the radio here, so we'll keep it G-rated. But anyway, so Antonio Brown wants to go into the Hall of Fame with Big Ben.
Oh, wow.
Yes. He says they are Mac Daddies.
They might be Mac Daddies, but I think the ultimate question comes down to, and you can't deny the numbers the guy put up. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's professional football. Is anything that he's done that's been unprofessional, is that going to have any kind of effect on when it comes down to saying, should this guy go to the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, I think so. He's just nobody likes him,
right?
For obvious reasons. And I love whenever he mentions something because it's gold every time.
Yeah.
But I do not like him.
Right.
But I love what he does because it's so awfully bad.
Right.
So yeah, I don't think whatever. They were both in the MAC. Where did he play? Because Ben was Miami of Ohio.
Wasn't he like Western Kentucky?
He was like West, North, South, East, Kardashian, Kanye West State University.
Yeah.
I think that's what he was.
Right.
So he's saying that they went from little schools. They're Mac Daddies. They should go into the Hall at the same time.
Sounds to me like AB is trying to find ways to sneak into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Would he want one more pass from Ben? Like,
right.
Ben goes in first, then just passes it off to him.
Right. And also, if you go in with a Hall of Famer, a quarterback that's won a couple touchdowns, maybe people won't pay attention to his, the things that he gets involved with.
Yeah,
and
his
again,
antics, throwing furniture off a balcony at like a father-son or whatever the heck was going on
right.
there.
And maybe I could just sneak in, under the radar. We'll see.
He was a 6th-round pick.
Yes.
Something happened since our last show that I did want to talk about. We do have about 8 minutes left. The NFL draft happened. Now, the NFL draft was in Detroit.
Yes.
There's been a lot of talk about it coming to Pittsburgh.
Yes.
I keep saying the city's too small to handle crowds that big. I mean, they got millions of people going to this thing now. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Right.
But how is Green Bay hosting it next year?
Okay,
Like hotel-wise, and that's what I mean.
That's a great point. And if you're looking at the above view of Detroit, as I'm, as everybody's watching the draft, I'm thinking of this. I'm thinking it doesn't, city-wise. You see that area that they put, the draft in. You had the area for all, the crowd. I'm thinking, we can make that work somewhere, right? Detroit's not a huge city.
Yeah, out by the airport. Have the draft at the old airport.
Right.
I don't know where you put it downtown. I mean, physically, where do you put it? And also, can hotels handle it? Can Pittsburgh handle that? That's one of the reasons why we would never have a Super Bowl here. One, because of the weather, and two, because just we can't handle it. Not big enough of a city.
So you think that's what the problem ultimately boils down to is
But how does Green Bay how are they having this?
Right.
I'm completely economically confused.
Yeah.
I'll have to call him. What's the show on here? The politics show that you produce?
Oh yeah, Thinking Logically with Joe Corsai.
Yeah, I'll have to call in and ask him on the economics of that.
I'm sure he could help you with that.
Yeah, I'll have to do that. What days is he on?
He's on Monday and Thursday.
Monday and Thursday. What time?
5 o'clock.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Maybe I'll call in tomorrow.
Yeah, give him a ring. I'm sure he'd be happy to hear from you.
I might just surprise you.
Okay.
All right.
You're not going to call in doing your Richard Nixon impression or anything like this, are you?
I don't even know much about Richard Nixon.
Yeah.
If I did, it would be Reagan,
You're right. Okay.
I remember Reagan was in a Genesis video. Do you remember Land of Confusion?
Yes, absolutely.
And then he hit the nuke button at one point. I always just thought that was a cool video.
As a kid, that was the most exciting part because they were like puppets.
It was like something. Yeah.
Yes.
It wasn't like Sesame Street puppets, but it was some sort of like clay looking like
yes. And if my mind's serving me right, they were he was with Nancy and he woke up from a dream and he pushed the button and set off nukes.
Well, sorry about that, Soviet Union. Oops. Land of confusion.
Yeah.
All right. So the Steelers did draft, and I want to talk about 5 players that they drafted real quick, Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
In the first round, they got Futani from Washington. Second round, Frazier from WVU. Third round, Roman Wilson, Peyton Wilson, the wide receiver from Michigan and linebacker from North Carolina State, and Mason McCormick, the guard from South Dakota State.
Yes.
Traditionally, players like Ben Roethlisberger or Troy Polamalu, they just don't start as a rookie.
Yeah, right.
Do you see any of these guys starting week 1, if not let's say by week 8, any of the guys?
You know what? It's going to be very, very interesting on how they do the offensive line. I mean, of course, there's going to be a lot of moving around. You don't know who's going to be your right tackle. You don't know who's going to be left tackle. You don't know who's going to be ready to start left tackle. You don't know who's going to be. So I think that if you're going to have any issues, it's going to be there. Again, you might have again, you just don't know. You don't know because you have rookie Frazier, you have rookie Fatanu. So that's going to be, in my opinion, that's going to be the area that there would be something. As far as Roman Wilson, you know what? As Ralph said earlier, they're going to fix this wide receiver position, and I think Roman Wilson is going to be able to work himself in as your.
I mean, you have 3 wide receiver, 4 wide receiver sets. He's obviously going to get in. Does that mean he's going to start? Maybe not, but he'll get looks.
The Peyton Wilson, now he's a part of what become a really deep inside linebacker room. Once Cole Holcomb gets healthy, your starters, in theory, should be Landon Roberts and Patrick Queen, which would make your inside linebacker backups Holcomb and Wilson. And you got to think you still have Mark Robinson. So there's
and then on the outside, you have Watt and Highsmith. I mean, that linebacking crew, the Steelers are known for great linebackers. This is finally, I think, an elite, on paper, as long as they don't get injured, great linebacking core. So hopefully, I mean, that's the strength of the defense.
And one name, too, that we could also add to the mix is Nick Herbig. I mean, this kid has tons of upside, and he could play inside.
The chances he did very well.
Absolutely. He could play inside and outside. I want to see him and Peyton Wilson on the field at the same time. They're very similar in style. And the other person is McCormick. I don't think he starts, but I do think that he plays a part next season once James Daniels becomes a free agent.
Now, Daniels is the right guard.
He's the right guard, and this kid's a guard, so it's going to be interesting to watch the progression of
if he can
McCormick.
Step up and fill in as a starter in 2025. Yeah, I agree. I loved last year's draft.
I did too.
And I love this year's draft. And the thing that I notice most about it, everybody's big.
Yes.
You know, when I talk about the NBA and sports, to me, you know, they're like, oh, this point guard's this point guard's that. And they're always like talking about these 6-foot tall guys. I'm like, give me Magic Johnson.
Yeah.
He's big.
Right.
And he could play them.
Why wouldn't you want a guy 6'9" that could play point guard?
Right. So a defensive back, I want those big guys because wide receivers are usually big. So offensive linemen, give me some big guys with long arms. I noticed that the height of some of our linemen is like a couple inches shorter than the standard.
Yeah.
Is that because we have Russell Wilson? Because he hey, we can't draft anybody taller than 6'4" because I really can't see over them. Just something coincidental maybe.
That's very interesting. Very interesting question.
Oh, what a great show. Paul Skeens to make his debut this Saturday versus the Cubbies. We're talking Steelers right now, though. The young guys, who's going to have a step up from their rookie season? Who do you think is going to make the biggest impact next season?
I think Joey Porter is going to have an amazing season. He ended up getting 1 interception last year. He played, I forget what it was, half the season. They didn't start him right away. He came in, was very, very, very much a big. He was a shutdown corner. He did get 1 interception. I think that number improves this year, and especially if say Corey Trice comes along well and they're able to play.
I hope he stays healthy. He's another big guy.
He's just like Joey Porter in that sense, and he likes to hit. So, but I think Joey Porter is going to be the one that makes that step. Also, I'm not going to. You cannot leave out Nick Herbig. This guy is going to have a big career, and as well as Joey Porter Jr. If he stays healthy, he's going to have a big season.
All right, I'm betting on Keanu Benton to make a big difference on that defensive line.
You know what? He's the one that needs to have the biggest improvement because the defensive line isn't getting any younger on either side of him. Ogunjobi and Cam Hayward. I think the anchor in the middle, he has to really come along this year.
I know we don't have much time, but why can't we just cut Hayward?
He's almost become the Charlie Batch of the city. You know what I mean? He's almost like Charlie was one of the guys after a while. He wasn't even playing. He was just on the sideline. I think we're going to have to live this Cam Hayward thing out for many years to come. I'm going to be honest with you.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to be doing tomorrow between 11 and 12. Okay. I'm going to be listening to The Two Dumb Yinzers on YouTube. Why don't you tell everybody about that?
Yes, The Two Dumb Yinzers. We are live every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube. And then the live show that we do every day, we upload over on Spotify in podcast form at 8 o'clock p.m. So if you're not able to watch the show, you can always go over there and listen. But it is readily available on YouTube, Spotify. Check it out.
All right, so the big news today, my niece turns 1. Happy birthday to Gabrielle.
Happy birthday.
And this Saturday, PNC Park versus the Cubs. Olivia Dunn will be in the stands watching her boyfriend. What's he? Is he a pitcher?
I don't know. Who knows?
All right, everyone. I thought this was a great show. Thanks again, Ryan. I had so much fun, and I walked in today thinking it wasn't going to be a fun show, and it was an absolute blast. All right, everybody. You guys have been listening to WBVP 99.3 FM and 1230 AM. We will see you back here in 167 hours.
You've been listening to One Man's Opinion on Sports with Bryan Pasquale on Beaver County Radio. Don't forget, you can watch the show on WBVP-WMBA Facebook page anytime. Tune in next Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m. for One Man's Opinion on Sports with Bryan Pasquale on Beaver County Radio.